The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
May have known him as Diesel, Vinny Vegas, Oz, or Nash, but his best work in wrestling was jumping federations for cash. I heard the Kliq This podcast, and the host I knew as Kevin. He talked about a gun in his mouth, so I figured I'd meet him in heaven. It seems like I'll just have to wait until we run into each other. Meanwhile, St. Anthony just won't stop asking for an introduction to my brother. So I'm perched here forever, high upon heaven's loft. I guess I'll kill time and amuse myself by sucking my own 11 soft. See you soon, Kev.
I hope not.
Good to see Lanny again. I loved that guy. I really did.
Stay out of South America.
I know. You see what happens?
No, don't come back. That's what
Yeah,
it was.
you go to a nice, safe country like Ecuador, and you come to a third world nation like the United States, and you're gone.
Yeah.
It's
No,
shocking.
but it was a lot of guys don't get checked, man, for heart issues.
What do you do? What's your health regimen? What do you?
I mean, number one is blood work. You got to get. I mean, I get blood work every 3 months, so I know. Like
You do every 3 months.
Oh yeah.
Wow. You're almost in another room from the microphone at this point. Just lean in. Just lean a little bit there. We'll pull that.
Maybe I'll just pull this motherfucker
there you
over
go.
here.
There you go. So every 3 months. That's okay.
Yeah. I mean, so you know, if you're HDL and LDL, like my HDL last time, my HDL was 48, my LDL was 52 or 3. Total cholesterol was 106. Triglycerides were 66. Like my C-reactive protein was like, I don't even think it was 1, maybe 0.7 or something like that.
I know what none of this means. So, but those are good numbers. We're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It means that you're. Yeah. I mean, if you're the HDL is basically the good cholesterol that keeps your arteries clean.
I got you. Right.
LDL is what plugs them up. So.
Now, do you do this because I know there's heart issues in the family?
Yeah, my
obviously.
dad died at My dad died at 36. Well, my son, you know,
Right.
died of a heart attack, cardiac arrest,
Right.
and I didn't even realize until they were giving him blood at the hospital that he was. I always thought that he was the same as his mom, and then I just asked the nurse. I said, "What kind of blood does he have?" And she said, A negative. I'm like, fuck, he's got my blood.
Mm.
But he had just had, you know, he was in the hospital. So, I mean, they had done every test on earth, you know. So all this shit was.
But at 26, like, unless there was an issue, he probably wouldn't have gotten tested for anything.
It was alcohol.
Yeah, but I mean, like, just knowing, like, the family history. Like, when you were 26, knowing your family history, you weren't getting your heart checked at 26, were you?
No, fuck. I mean, it wasn't even, like, HDL wasn't even something people talked about.
Mm.
It was always, first it started as cholesterol.
Right.
Then your overall number was 200. Like, my wife has a really high cholesterol level. It's like 212 or something like that. And every doctor she goes to, they go, "Oh my God." And I'm like, "Well, doctor, did you see what her HDL is?" My wife's HDL is like 153. Like, she doesn't have a fucking piece of plaque in her fucking, you know.
You know, it's that Southern cooking that naturally elevates the cholesterol level. Years.
We don't fucking eat Southern cooking.
No, but she's from Georgia.
She did. I met. Let me think. Let me think when I met her. She was 20. She was 20 when I met her, so she was 21. So and she was already like she was real thin and in shape, and so she didn't.
Well, I'm not saying she was large. I'm just saying it's something in Southern cooking, right?
Well, shit. I grew up. My mom was from the South. We had fried pork. I mean, everything you ate was fucking fried.
Were you guys the same age? Well, are you the same age? I guess you and your wife.
No, we're at this point we're 9 years difference, and then she'll be will be 8 years difference on February 27th.
She's got the half. She's got the half year.
Yeah.
My wife always goes to the 2, and I go to the 1, but it's really 1.5.
See, my brother and I are 2 years 2 months apart. He's older than me.
How's his heart?
I mean, he's had no. I mean, we're the 2 longest living Nashes of all time.
I know. He's younger or older?
Older.
Okay.
He's 65.
All right, feedback from last week. This 386-6210110. That's like goddamn Valjean from Les Mis 246. Can we get Sean Putin for a full? Oh, Sean Putin for a full episode. Probably insensitive at the current moment, but goddamn, it slayed me right off the bat. Last week's opening. Maybe I'll see. Maybe we'll each take a leader, a world leader, and do a show. Kliq This entirely with.
I'm gonna be the Chinese dude.
Xiping or whatever.
Yeah.
Mei Pang.
I just call him the Balloon Man.
Jeremiah Schuyler. Thanks for the shout out to us in the trenches teaching sixth graders. Oh yeah, you did give a shout out to Jeremiah. We feel for you. But based on the State of the Union last night, it sounds like you're getting a raise.
Well, especially if you live in Arkansas. Huckabee is gonna, take. She's been at the helm, and I just want you guys to know that she's running her dick sucker. Last night, I'm like, okay, let me see where Arkansas, where it fits in the 50 states. Google search Arkansas, number 48 in educational pay. Hell of a job, lady.
Who fell to 49 and 50? Was it?
I looked at my wife. I said, it's got to be Mississippi and Louisiana.
Louisiana, yeah.
Yeah, I mean those are proverbials.
I knew a teacher that
just go deep south. Just go deep south.
Yeah.
I mean, when you start paying $120,000 to a teacher and $120,000 to a police officer, I guarantee you that especially on the police force, you ain't gonna be fucking up if you're making fucking 6 figures. If you're making $38,000 and putting your life on the line, fuck that.
Big AB. Kevin, I totally popped when you gave the Cincinnati Gardens an A. Grew up going to wrestling there and was heartbroken when they tore it down. Riverfront Coliseum is a dump, but I saw you there in a Nitro 97.
Wrestled Lex.
So this is amazing to me. Like, I can't remember what I had for lunch Monday. You
just don't have severe CTE.
Yeah, but that would be the reverse effect. We were talking buildings last week, and like you were remembering main events and.
It's because I don't have brain damage.
But it's just
what people don't understand is
how many matches have you had? Okay, can we get an estimate? Let's say when you were in WWE, that was probably your busiest road schedule, right?
I'd say probably 5,000.
5,000. This is what I'm talking about. To say
5.
Cincinnati Gardens and you go, yep, Lex, that's ridiculous.
Oh, Riverfront.
Oh, Riverfront. Okay.
Shawn Michaels on the outside. He got me in the rack. Shawn made the save. It was a DQ. Place went wild.
How was Lex to work?
Good.
Yeah.
Yep. Always could do his part. Always looked the part.
Yeah.
And I loved working with Lex. Didn't hurt you.
Looked like a wrestler. We talked about that
Yeah,
last
it
week too.
never hurt you. You know, you know.
Some news site was trying to start some shit. By the way, they were carrying the Lashley thing where we were talking about him being a nice guy. Well, you mentioned, I don't know him.
Yeah.
You mentioned that he was a nice guy, and like the headline was like, Kevin Nash thinks Bobby Lashley's missing something. But I get that, and we were talking about athletes this week, and that kind of, I hate to be cliche and say eye of the tiger, so I will, but there's something about being a bit of a badass, but anything, it transcends anything. Being on the court, being on the field, especially if you have to talk into a microphone and look in a camera in wrestling, because so much of you is your character. You better be a baby face if you're a baby face, right?
Yeah, if you're not I mean, I've never been a kiss the baby's baby face, you know. I'm a much better heel because I'm just a prick.
Exactly. And that comes, look at the other guys that were great heels. Orndorff, Flair, have a little bit of prick in them.
Scott.
Exactly.
I mean, Scott was a great heel.
There's guys you could never turn, right? You could never turn Ricky Steamboat, could you?
No.
You could never turn Tito Santana.
I don't think Sting could have been a heel.
Well, when they started doing the Crow Sting, you could have done anything with that because it ceased to be Sting.
Yeah, but at the same time, I just think that he was so over with the blonde hair that no matter how you changed him, his DNA was still of a naturally good guy.
Right.
So
I would have said the same thing of Martel, but he did great with that model thing.
yeah, and also fucking did really well on purchasing some commercial real estate in the Montreal area.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking to him about
Yeah,
that.
he did, I love it when a guy does well, you know, that makes money and keeps it after he gets out, because we're all beat. I trained chest yesterday, and we got a couple of pro bodybuilders here in town, and we were all in the gym at the same time, and those fuckers, man, they always get, come on, I used to watch you on TV, don't be a bitch. And I always train too heavy, and fucking I woke up this morning and it was just like, oh, fuck. I'm going to leave next time they walk in. I'm going to go grab the chrome dumbbells and say, fuck you guys, I'm 63, I can't put another wheel on. Yeah, let me just jump 90 pounds on my fucking carcass. But I do got a little good pump today, so.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's rough. Like I get that feeling in the morning, but it's usually just from taking out the recycling the night before. It has nothing to do with the gym, but I know that getting out of bed feeling, and there's nobody there cheering me on saying they saw me on
my
TV.
rotator, and my wife, my son used to do this impersonation of me, and he'd be like, "Here's Dad before you see him," and he would start at the top of the steps with because my wife will like say, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "Why?" She said, "Well, you're making a lot of noise." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm moving. Fuck." Like, it's like one of those like 1837 steam locomotives because they start, you know, like, It's like, oh.
All these young people that work for us here, you wait till you get to 50 and 60, the fucking noises you make. I'll be sitting on the couch at one point. My daughter will look over to me and be like, "Dude, do you hear yourself? Like, do you need something?" I'm like, "What?" She's like, so I'm moving. I had to shift my body.
I've always got some lacrosse ball or something jammed somewhere in my back against a trigger point, rolling around over, you know. It's just like, fuck. My wife just looks at me and she goes, "Was it worth it?" I'm like, no.
How are all your like discs and shit? Did you ever have to have any surgery on spinal stuff?
My neck is fucked.
Right.
I mean, my neck is fucked. My back.
That was your first stem cell thing, right? Was the neck?
No, I had my neck and my shoulders and my knees.
Right.
But I mean, for me, like, before I had this knee replacement, Like I really used to go into deep thought before I'd pinch one off. Like, do I really need to squat and shit? Like, I almost was going to buy one of those deals like in Japan where just a hole.
You just stand over the hole?
Stand over the hole naked and then go right into the shower. Just shit in a hole. I was like, fuck. But we have handicapped toilets. So
they're higher, right?
Yeah, they're higher. That's like all our countertops are like 10 inches higher.
How tall is Tamara?
5'6".
You have a step ladder for when she has to use the bathroom?
Because if you think about it, it's like when you put your dog. Like if you have a dog and you put its food on the floor, the difference of raising his food 8 inches is like night and day. Mm. Because they're eating with their esophagus open, and no, she's like washing her face and shit. Like I still got to bend way the fuck over.
That'd be a funny like animated series, like it's Nash's house, and we go in and like everything is like giant, like your wife, and like someone comes over to visit, the cleaning woman comes and she can't read shit on the counter. In my mind, that's
I tell you, our master suite is like fuck. It looks like a giant lives in that fucker.
Right. High bed, right? Obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alex the Lucha. Yes.
I was going to say T's bed's low. It's like it's a platform bed. So.
But he was tall. He was over 6 feet, right?
Yeah. But he's like me. He's the king of plopping.
Alex the Luchador. I was at that Superstars taping. It was my first wrestling show. My dad got tickets as an early birthday present for my 10th birthday. All I can remember, it was a very long taping. Okay, so this is referencing one of the ones that you mentioned last week. So Superstars tapings were three weeks of TV, right?
Yeah. And dark matches in between, and they had to set up a cage. Maybe have to do a live interview out in the ring.
And then you had main events after, right? It was dark before.
And dark and then dark.
A dark main event.
And dark main event to hold a crowd.
And then were you guys doing TV during the day also here, or was that the era right before this? Like I know like in...
No, we didn't do TV. TV started like doors were 6 maybe.
Yeah. But so you wouldn't have to do the around the horn interviews, next month in South Dakota.
Oh, fuck. Yes, we did, man.
Oh, on that day?
On that day.
Oh, okay.
And half the time it was after the dark match.
Oh.
So at 11 o'clock, you're fucking cutting promos till 2 in the morning, then driving 300 miles.
I thought it was before the show. That's what they used to do for, like, the Allentown in the 70s. Yeah, oh, that's horrendous. What, to give you more travel time, I guess, during the day?
Oh, to fucking just make it as miserable as possible.
That's horrendous.
I mean, see how long you can live on that sandwich.
Yeah. The bologna blowout is back. Tasmission Plex says, Kevin Sean, keep those damn dear sexy segments coming. Keep up the amazing work. We will, Taz. Timothy, I love your political talk. You guys are straight down the middle. You never know what political team you're on. Keep discussing everything. That's because we don't necessarily have to be on a team, issue by issue. No. Doesn't everybody's opinion change issue by issue on everything else? Forget politics, because everybody now wears a uniform and puts the hat on, and that's what they are now. But, like, aren't there some fucking days where, like, you want a sandwich and,
Am I the only person, like, I think it was yesterday, I was watching the news and Biden got off it was the day before. Biden got off a plane, he had a fucking Under Armour fucking blue hat on. I'm like, what, has he got a fucking deal now with these guys? Did you see that?
No.
All day long he was sporting an Under Armour ball cap. I don't even know what the fuck the logo was in front.
Aviator shades? Do you have the Ray-Ban gimmick too?
No. It looks like he's got like new veneers or something. He looked at the State of the Union. He looked like he'd gotten some stem cells or some
putting them back together. Screwed him in a little tighter before going out. But it's I don't know. We're in such a divisive time, and people's identities have become their political party, right? They've totally, it's totally imbued their system, and now it is them. It's
because we've had this conversation before, just when we've been talking. It's like when you put a sticker of a candidate on the back of your car, and maybe even one that tells the other one to fuck off, and you wear a hat and you put a 6-foot flag on the back of your pickup truck, like, you are taking on. Then if you disagree with that person on anything, you're basically saying, wow, I'm an asshole. So you can't disagree because you're so all in.
Becomes a commentary on you.
How many Biden bumper stickers do you see?
Up here more than you do down there.
I don't think I've seen one in my life down here.
Right.
But, but then again, I mean, they're considering letting everybody carry a firearm without a concealed permit down here too. So all I had to do is just give some fucking crazy ass a reason to shoot you.
Oh, it's gonna be the fucking set of Rust down there. Thomas Johnson, thank you guys for the discussion of Tyre Nichols. Thank you for the compassion and recognition of the problem. Much respect. Listen, I don't know how else you could look at that situation differently than we did. Liquid IV. I would not be able to get off the air today if I did not talk about how important hydration is. Loving the mocktail style of Liquid IV, okay? You may have made a resolution to hydrate better in 2023, for God's sake. Well, now there's a resolution that's easy to keep, okay? With just one stick of this product, you're going to get 5 essential vitamins, 2 times faster hydration than water alone. Use it first thing in the morning, before a workout, when you feel run down, maybe after a long night out, on long flights. Kev, you fly all over the place. Throw a pack of Liquid IV in your pocket, take it on the plane, ask for a water. You got it. Great flavors, Concord grape. I love the pina colada and the tropical punch. But they've got Concord grape, lemon, lime, watermelon, strawberry, passion fruit, guava, acai berry even. And 1 stick of Liquid IV, folks, in 16 ounces of water, hydrates you 2 times faster and more effectively than water. 5 essential vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12, vitamin C. 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks, made with premium ingredients. Non-GMO, free from gluten, dairy, and soy. Liquid IV is on a mission to change the world. To date, Liquid IV has donated over 25 million servings in 50 countries across the world. So grab your Liquid IV in bulk at Costco, or you can get 20% off if you go to liquidiv.com and use the code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at checkout. That's 20% off anything when you order. Get hydrated. Shop smarter, get hydrated. Use that promo code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, at liquidiv.com. And we thank you, Liquid IV. All right, Kevin.
Not that you couldn't drop a little Tito's in one of those. Boom!
Getting healthy and feeling good all at the same time.
Hydrate while you dehydrate.
Hydrate, exactly. It's like put a humidifier and a dehumidifier in the same room.
Absolutely. It's like hit it from all angles.
Mr. Baker, love the podcast. Baldwin should know that you don't pull the trigger with a gun pointed at anyone. The gun is supposed to be pointed at a predetermined spot, never at anyone. Why? Brandon Lee.
What if the director? No, Brandon Lee had a dummy, had a blank, and the wadding of the blank went into his brain.
Right.
He didn't have a real bullet. Number 2, if the director gives you the direction to point at the camera, and how else do you look down the barrel of the gun unless you're looking at like for me that I got to do that. I got to point it. I've got to point it at the camera.
And from across the room too.
The problem is this. They went out and fucked around with those guns with live ammunition a day or two before they went on scene. And I would never, I would now, but I've never been handed a weapon on a set that actually fired. They're just plastic and everything's done post.
Yeah, I mean, he goes on to say 30 plus years in the industry fixed this issue. Anyways, I could say more, but I'm going back to listening to audio. Any man should know you always check a gun someone hands you. If he did, he would have said, wait, there's live ammo in this. Blanks look a lot different than a FMJ. Was that Full Metal Jacket? FMJ?
It's a bullet. It's got an actual. There's a.
Does it look? Does a blank look different? I don't know. I thought the blanks were just.
But blanks don't
regular
have,
cartridges without the.
They don't have the projectile bullet
in the top, right?
Yeah.
But by looking at the back of a revolver, I'm assuming it was a revolver because it was a period film.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't be able to tell, but you would be able to tell had you turned it sideways and looked at the cylinder. You would have saw round. You see the top of the bullet in the chamber.
I don't know if someone hands me a gun on a set. It says cold gun. I'm assuming it's a cold gun. I don't know how you get around the fact that there were live fucking rounds on a movie set in a gun that was supposed to fire.
Especially when you're shooting
period.
An 1800s period. Those guns, revolvers don't have safeties. It's like there's way too many. It's.
No, I know, I get it. I don't know. I was
if
confused.
somebody hands me a gun, though, it's just now. God forbid, poor Baldwin, but I don't think anybody will fucking just take a gun and fire it. I'm sure Dave Bautista looked at that fucking 45 that he fired before he fired around it on that Netflix gimmick.
What did I just see? What's the show he's in now? There's a movie, a new M. Night Shamalyn film.
Knock on the Cabin, I think.
Knock on the Cabin Door. Knock on the Cabin in the Woods. The Cabin in the Woods. Knock on the Door.
I've heard different. I haven't seen it yet. I plan on it. The last thing I saw that director did was that Old. Did you see that?
No. I know the concept.
It was really cool because they brought people to this resort that had different diseases, and they progressed them with all this, and so they and it was So
was it that they age in a day? They age their life ages in a day.
So they can basically do research on these people, and I thought that was well done. I saw that on a plane. So it looks interesting. Some people I saw one audience thing gave it a 62. Then Rolling Stone said to not miss it. It was a good film. So
he's great. I did 2 movies with him. I voiced a third, but like on set with him, I did Sixth Sense, and then Unbreakable, and he'd gotten really huge right after the Sixth Sense, and it's very normal guy. Then the one, I don't know, the one was a little iffy. What was the one called where it's the grass is the bad guy? People can't figure out why people are going crazy, and they figure out it's the fucking grass. Yeah, The Happening. I'm happy to take the residual now and then, but I think I could have put a little more time into The Happening night. But we opened the show with Lanny Poffo, and did you get to spend any time with Lanny?
Yeah, what happened was I think we did a piece, or WWE did a piece on Randy. Mm-hmm. And I just spoke Randy and I were really close. I loved Randy to death, and I think Lanny just, I had never really spent time with Lanny. And then we ended up doing a shot up in Thunder Bay, and we spent the day up there, and it was just, he was just so happy that, you know, that I showed love to his brother.
Yeah.
So he was always, I mean, anytime I ever saw him at signings or anything, he was a class act guy.
He was. And he was interesting. He's one of these guys that was always great to have on. He was one of my favorite guests to have on, present company excluded, because he was interesting. He was one of these guys you could talk to about shit, and you didn't just have to, you know, talk about what happened in the ring in 1989.
Right.
Talk about almost anything. He had a lot of divergent interests.
Well, just the fact that he went
like
to
musical
he went
theater.
down to, he went down to Peru and did his thing down there for a while. You know, just like anybody that can just. I was looking at a thing today on Instagram. It was like for $1,875 a month, you can live in Dominican. The Dominican Republic.
That was the deal with him. He's a very frugal cat, and he called me that time. He said,
I wanted to let you know that I'm moving to Ecuador.
and I said, Lanny, what is this work? I thought maybe there was a federation starting, or he was going to train luchadors or something. I said, wow, of all places, that's exciting. What's going on? He said,
Do you know I'm going to be 47 steps from the beach for $800 a month? I mean, it was all about the money for Lanny.
Always.
I said, do you speak Spanish? He was like, no. It balls, man.
I've always said, man, people will say, well, how can you go there and you don't speak the language? I say, bring that Platinum American Express card. All of a sudden everybody speaks English.
Oh, the language of green, baby. May I play a tribute to Lanny Poffo?
Yeah.
May I take a few minutes of the Kevin Nash podcast? I was looking for clips that would be fun, and then I found a trailer for his U-Shoot, which has a bunch of clips in it, which I figured would be the best way to just play that. And I don't know, it's 4 minutes or something like that, but it's Lanny's greatest moments. He was a very eccentric dude. That made him a lot of fun. Steve, let's hit everyone with this here. You can. Oh, DVDs. Remember DVDs?
I want you to feel my pain here. I'm a jabroni. I look in the mirror, I see a jabroni. At 59 years old, Randy died at 58 and a half. And then I thought about all the times that I didn't get my way. You know, Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. Except mine was macho, macho, macho.
Funky like a monkey, sky's the limit. This is the place. Take it!
Of all the imitations of Randy I've ever seen, that was by far the most recent. You've got felons in the Hall of Fame. You've got some sorry-ass people in the Hall of Fame. You've got some Judy Garland, Amy Winehouses in the Hall of Fame. Everybody seems to think Randy married his high school sweetheart. Well, that's a pretty good trick since she's from Tennessee and he's from Illinois.
All right, we're here in KC Shoot Cinema. We're gonna watch some footage, and we'll critique and see if we have any comments about some KC programs prior.
Randy Savage bought her from an escort service in Lexington, Kentucky for fucking $80 an hour and never let her go. That is where Miss Elizabeth came from.
He had surveillance. He had all that high tech. You know, he would look out and everything, and then gates and everything. He had it all.
Was he paranoid?
Well, was John F. Kennedy paranoid on November 22nd, 1963?
Well, people assassinate presidents. I don't know who'd assassinate a famous wrestler.
I'm just saying, sometimes there are plots against people. Was he paranoid? Yes.
Randy Savage's bark was so much bigger than his bite. You're in the danger zone. Yeah.
Come on along and listen to the lullaby of Broadway. That's all I got to say about that. Lanny, do you think the other wrestlers would sign my book? I said, what do you care? You're Marvin Hamlish.
Right. And Adrian Adonis said, who is that fucking guy? Get him out of here. I got a line of blow on the table. Going Broadway is the appropriately titled segment here. Lanny, we're gonna hear some show tunes come up.
Hello, Dolly. That's Barbara Streisand. I had a crush on my 5th grade teacher, name withheld upon request. And
what was his name?
I don't know about Batista, and I know everybody's curious, but if I were a betting man, I would put Win, Place, and Show on Robert Fuller. Sweeney Todd. It's about sour grapes. It's the little thing, you know, I can't get the grapes, so they must be sour. I can't get the grapes, so it must be because I didn't have sex with Pat Patterson. I promise you.
I remember that one from childhood.
Everybody says Steve Lombardi and Pat were doing that. I don't believe it. I just don't. You know why? Because Steve Lombardi told me it wasn't true. And you know what? I believe him for 2 reasons. Number 1, he's never lied to me. And number 2, he is an ugly motherfucker. Brigadoon. Today in 1949, my parents made a vow. And I think it's amazing. They're still together now. Mixed marriages by nature never seem to get on track. You know my mother's Jewish. You know my dad is black. But he passes for Italian, and we keep his secret well, so Angelo and Judy can spend 50 years in hell. Oh, I bleached my hair. I got in the sunbed. I worked out like a maniac. Steroids was illegal, but I took human growth hormone, HGH. And I'm not proud of it, but it's a shoot interview, and I feel like telling you the truth. What a fantastic enhancement to my life she has been.
How sweet is that? After you got famous, did you ever plow her?
The WWE put a memo out, stop shitting in Jerry Lawler's crown.
Well, imagine owning a business where you have to put out a memo, please stop shitting in someone's hat. That's the first time I've ever seen you rattled. I mean, we've talked about everything. Stephanie Bellers, I think, rattled you a little. Is this true?
My feelings are hurt that you would have the temerity to bring that up. No, it's Argentino Rocca, Antonino Rocca. Now, here's what happened. He changed the business with his dick.
Hulk Hogan. He's a very tall man, about
And a
6'7".
stamp.
One punch from him could send you to heaven.
Back then, they wouldn't book a bodybuilder. They were considered vanity, homosexuality, strangeness, autofellatio, whatever.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And
it sounds like you're reading me your resume right now, actually.
A 400-mile trip, Rocca's dick, that's all you could talk about. You know, and I pretended not to be interested, but I thought it was pretty fascinating because it must have been fantastic.
Kevin, when's the last time you referred to someone's cock as fantastic?
I didn't know whose cock was fantastic.
Argentina Rocca, I guess.
That's taking meat gazing to fucking like the Audubon Society. You
know? A whole new level. Jesus. And when you talk about fantastic cock, I guess Tommy Lee has to come up, which brings me to the Pam Anderson documentary that was just released on Netflix, which I watched. I didn't get through the whole thing, to be honest. I threw in the towel.
I watched it.
What year were you with Pam? When was that WrestleMania? That was
95.
95. And Tommy was after that?
No, Tommy was.
Oh, he was there.
Yeah, he was at the Rumble. I know. He was at the Rumble.
How was she?
How was she? Quiet.
Not in that sense. I mean,
she was quiet. Yeah. We did like a photo shoot on the beach with her, and we spent we worked a couple of different days with her, but she was always just chill and quiet.
Why was she the one? I mean, she was a massive sex symbol. Was it? There's a lot of pretty women out there in entertainment. What was it about her, you think?
I think there was a certain purity to her, even though she was a sex symbol. And then she learned, one of the best things, and I think it's in that documentary, is she was, maybe it's not, but I'd read this somewhere, where her mother had told her, you know, because she was one of the first people that came out against the whole Me Too thing. Like she wasn't, and she said, if you get called up to have a meeting and you go to somebody's hotel room and they open the door and they have a robe on. This is what her mom told her. You better if you go in that room, you better get the fucking job.
One way or the other.
That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, and by saying that, I think, a lot of people shit on her, because she got it.
Right.
I think and I think that's one of the things is, I think she was smart. I think she was a worker. I think she's horrible financially. She's been in financial trouble several times. She's been married to get bailed out. The last guy she was the contractor on her home, Vancouver Island.
You said it was sad. What?
She was raped. I mean, she was like 12 and she was raped
by
a 25-year-old.
Oh, all right. Well,
that's that fucking man. That's the Tony Canigliaro beanball right there.
No, that is
that fucks you up for life.
I don't know how I missed that part.
Yeah,
I only saw half of it. So.
No, I was like right at the beginning, and it just to me it was just like, whoa, fuck. I can't. I mean, to me, it's just like I can't watch a rape scene in a movie. It's so vile.
Mm-hmm. Tommy and her were married like the weekend they met, right in Cancun.
4 days. Where did they meet at? They met at
Cancun, right?
Did they meet in Cancun or did they go to Cancun after they met?
Oh, maybe they ran away to Cancun. Yeah, I think they were at like a party or a club because I remember.
Yeah, it was a club that Pam owned or co-owned or whatever, and Tommy showed up, and then Tommy followed her to Cancun. He said, "I'll find you there," and he did.
That's right. I do remember that part.
He said, "I'll find you there."
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Then they did I think they were out at Lake Mead where they made the video.
So that was legit stolen. That wasn't like a work or anything. That was somebody stole that out of their possession and then sold it. And they apparently made no money. Is this true?
Yeah, Tommy Lee and Pam made no money.
It's amazing that could happen. How could it happen that you're in something that's stolen and you make no money? I mean, I'm sure the attorneys were all over that. I can't believe they didn't make any money.
I mean, you would think that that Tommy had cash. But
yeah, but
I think it was so hard. I mean, because everything was brand new with the internet and all that shit. Like
it was just all over the place right away.
It's
and
kind of like that.
Yeah,
I bet you Kim Kardashian didn't make fucking shit.
Right. Made her her entire family a career. I'll tell you that.
It's just that fucking child support Kanye pays. $200K a month.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, just for the bare essentials, I guess, that they need. It is time for the stiff one of the week, and we are sponsored by Blue Chew here. When you talk about stiff ones, you have to talk Blue Chew, the unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. You take them anytime, day or night, and you can plan ahead. Be ready whenever the opportunity arises. The process is simple. Head to BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online, okay? No doctor's visits, no awkward conversations, no waiting online at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package.
Make your penis fantastic.
We've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when you use our promo code NASH at checkout, okay? Just pay the shipping, $5. That's BlueChew.com, promo code NASH to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this segment. So this was actually a fan request. I did know about this, but a fan reminded me that it existed. Buddy Rich, the incredible drummer.
Yeah.
You've heard this?
No, I read I went through the comments, and somebody said that if you want to see somebody go off, see Buddy Rich go off on his band.
Yeah, so somebody was recording on the bus. This is on the bus after a show, and Buddy Rich is pretty unhappy. We will enjoy, thank you. Still enjoying. Will Buddy Rich go off on anybody today? I don't do a Buddy Rich impression. This is going to be very difficult. If I'm expected to do this. What's going on in Lakeland? No internet in Lakeland?
we got to follow the fucking Lanny talking about fucking somebody's fantastic cock.
Must have been fantastic. This isn't me, right? Everybody else has a blank screen that says enjoy?
That's the file I wound up downloading. Let me find the link again.
Okay. Not a problem. We'll do a little Buddy Rich for everybody here while they wait.
Remember he used to be on Carson, he'd go like this. He'd be drumming, he'd go...
He was just amazing. I'm going to play a clip. For anyone who doesn't know what a fucking badass Buddy Rich was, we're going to play a clip from The Tonight Show after we hear him go off.
He was no Gene Krupa, but he was up there.
He was next level, man. He was a look into the future of. I mean, I guess it was jazz drumming, but a lot of the. If you ever seen like Neil Peart from Rush, like his solos and stuff, very reminiscent of that old stuff. Okay.
What the fuck do you think is going on here? You had too many fucking days off and you think this is the game? You think I'm the only one that's going to work up there while you motherfuckers sit out there and clam all over this fucking joint? What do you think this is, anyhow? What kind of play do you think this is? What kind of miscues do you call this? What fucking band do you think you're playing on, motherfuckers? You want to fuck with me on a bandstand? Shut that fucking door. I'm up there working my balls off trying to do somebody a favor, and you motherfuckers are sucking all over this joint. What kind of trumpet section do you call us tonight? And saxophones? You gotta fucking be kidding me! How dare you call yourselves professional? Assholes are playing like fucking children up there. You got your... Where the fuck are you? There's one. You got your fucking horn so far deep in the fucking bells, we don't need to have a band here tonight. Your place will be heard. Everybody can hear your fucking fans out there. You don't need a mic for that. You taking up too much fucking time? Blowing what? Shit! You stand out here all fucking night trying to blow your fucking brains out and come trying to play. What do you play? Clams? You got nowhere to fucking go the next day, because if I hear one fucking clam from anybody, you've had it. One clam and this whole fucking band is through tonight. Try me. You got some fucking nerves. Nights off, nothing to do, and you come in and play this kind of shit for me? Fuck all of you. You're not doing me any fucking favors. You're breaking my heart up there. I gotta go up there and be embarrassed by you motherfuckers. I play with the greatest fucking musicians in the world. How dare you play like that for me? How dare you try to play like that for me? Assholes. I get 15 fucking kids in rehearsal. The fucking time of this band is incredible.
You're breaking my heart.
Two fucking bars in one fucking tempo. Not one.
I'm wondering if he fucking realized that somebody must have said, hey, buddy, is that a toupee?
You can't play your fucking foot and play. You're all over the fucking place. Miscue after miscue. You try one fuck up the next set, and when you get back to New York, you'll need another fucking job. Count on it. Now get out of my fucking bus.
Get out of my fucking bus. I'm ending every discussion I have with anyone with that. Get out of my fucking bus.
Yeah, get out of my bus. We're not in the bus.
Give us a. Thank you, buddy. We have to know when to get off the stage, buddy.
Go the fuck away.
Give us a little solo. Give us a little.
Pick a hand, buddy.
Give us a little buddy on Carson, going fucking berserk.
You got sticks? I'll do stick. I don't need all these. A drum. A cymbal. Okay, which is first?
There he gets to get
There's
that
the
mouth
face.
going.
You got the face. Hypnotic.
All right, let's talk politics.
See, when that motherfucker yells at you on the bus, you listen. Because of that, right there. All right. Move past Buddy.
Cut that motherfucker off.
Buddy, get off my fucking bus.
Jesus Christ. Man.
Amazing.
Motherfucker took over the show.
I was going to say, I think I'm going to do video.
I'm leaving the bus.
This is going to be entirely a clip show. From Lanny Poffo to Buddy Rich.
Jesus Christ. Please cut that motherfucker down.
It's time for Dear Sexy. Okay. These are actual letters from the Dear Abby archives over the years. And we're going to see what advice Kevin would have given. Kevin's a very in-demand individual. People want to talk to him, and this is the place to do it. So let's see if Kevin got these letters. Would it be Dear Sexy? I'm a Chinese-American from Taiwan. I have a college education and lived in San Francisco for 10 years. My friends Arthur and Larry are a Japanese-American couple who have lived in a deluxe mansion for 22 years. One day they invited Ron and me for a homemade dinner. At the last minute, I brought along Richard without calling them for permission. Arthur was angry when he saw that I brought an extra guest and said to me in the kitchen, "It is very rude to bring a guest with no advance notice. Didn't your mother teach you any manners?" All I could say was sorry. He refused to cook the meal and left the house in a huff. Larry entertained us and said to me, "I don't mind the extra guest. In my family, my mother always welcomed extra guests by saying, 'Don't worry. All we need is to provide one more pair of chopsticks for the guest.'" The next day, Larry informed me that Arthur had decided to punish me by not talking to me for 3 months. He bought me a book on etiquette by Emily Post. Sexy, was my innocent mistake really that terrible, or did Arthur overreact? What should I do after the 3-month punishment? Beg him for forgiveness or end the friendship wandering in San Francisco? That's a little intense.
I think if you told me you're having a dinner party and you live in a mansion, all right? It's not like you're stopping by having a burger at somebody's fucking single wide. So obviously these people, if you actually call it a mansion in San Francisco, that means you're in a $10 million home minimum, probably 20. You bring some fucking buddy off the street into a fucking mansion.
You off the street?
Fucking get off my bus. Get out of my fucking mansion. Fuck. At least lucky it was just. How would you? To me, it's the. How did he come up with looking at him and just went, you know what? I'm not talking to you for 3 months.
But 3 months, like a sentence almost. Yeah.
3 months.
That was the appropriate amount of time for bringing Richard to dinner.
Like, obviously, he was the alpha, so.
He was the top.
Yeah.
One might say.
Power. So that guy fucked up.
Wow. Okay, so that's interesting. I didn't know you'd take that side. Okay.
Yeah. No, number one, I don't like fucking people in my house anywhere. So if you bring some fucking stranger to my house, Jesus, fuck, stick a gun in his head. Oh, I can't say that.
No, well, here we go.
I would, though. I'd stick a gun in it. At least have a
We're
gun.
going to number 2 next week.
At least I'd have a fucking walk around with a holster.
Hey guys, Tony Schiavone. Need to call a timeout real quick. Wanted to tell your listeners what I've been telling What Happened When listeners for a while now about all the cool things happening over on AdFreeShows.com.
The road to WrestleMania has begun, and in this Ad-Free Shows exclusive, Tony and JR sit down to call the action from some of WrestleMania's biggest matches, including the end of The Undertaker's streak.
Hard-hitting war. I thought that Taker kicked out. I was wrong. And maybe that's because of my prejudice that I wanted to see Taker win.
Yeah, I would have liked to see 22-0 as well. But this is a historic moment. It really is, not only in WrestleMania history, but in all of pro wrestling, if you think about it.
What does everybody want? How about a sit-down exclusive with Al Snow, who discusses a wide range of topics, including his dear friend, Jim Cornette.
Jimmy knows and understands his gimmick, and he knows and understands what draws for him. And like any good worker, Jimmy's going to capitalize on it, you know. And a lot of what you see is not Jim Cornette. It's an aspect of Jim Cornette, and it's just an aspect that Jimmy's turned the volume up on, apparently, as the years went on, a lot, you know.
Ad-Free Show members recently sat shotgun alongside Kevin Nash for a live watch-along of his WWE Championship match against Shawn Michaels at In Your House 7. Catch the event now on demand.
Bullet. A year of brutal matches
was too much for the big man.
Too much for the big man's shoulders as he continually reached those shoulders into his pockets and came out empty from the amount of money that was paid him.
That's just a small taste of what we got waiting for you. With 4 levels to choose from, see for yourself why Ad-Free Shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now at AdFreeShows.com.
Dear Sexy, here's the next letter. Dear Sexy, I'm a single father with primary custody of my 11-year-old daughter, Nadine. She and I are very close. She lives with her mother on the weekends. However, since her mother works out of state, on some weekends she doesn't make it home to be with Nadine. Sexy, I have a rule that my daughter cannot have her girlfriend spend the night at our home. It's because I'm afraid of being accused of misconduct with her friends. I would never behave inappropriately, but today men must be careful that there is no possibility of suspicion. I would not feel comfortable with Nadine spending the night at the home of a friend who lived alone with her father, and I think most parents probably would feel the same. Am I cheating my daughter by not allowing her friends to sleep over? Am I wrong to protect myself from the possibility of accusations, or am I being paranoid? That's overly cautious or right on in Tampa, Florida. Well, Tampa's all I need to see. But go ahead. Is his father on the right track?
I mean, number one, if you've got custody of a female over the mother, you must have married a fucking real piece of shit. That's my tee shot. So you obviously don't have very good judgment. So yeah, I can see why you would. Depend. How old was his daughter?
Well, she was 11.
I mean, that's. This was probably 1950s question or some shit, but.
Well, certainly before now, but.
I know that if I had a daughter and I was raising her primarily, there wouldn't be girls staying over.
Okay.
She could go stay over at the girls' houses as long as I'd met both the parents.
Mm-hmm. Right. So this guy's on the right track.
Yeah, I would be very. It's especially because I think that the mom could definitely make some kind of a power move.
Now, your son was 26, but a male. Now, if you had a daughter who was, well, let's rewind a little. Let's not say 26. Let's say 18. 18-year-old daughter. Could her friends come over and stay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Technically adults, right?
Yeah, and not only that though, it's also they're not going to want to. They're going to always find the parent that's not home for the weekend to stay at and all lie and say no, their mom and dad's going to be there.
So they could party.
Yeah, yeah. So.
You know what I'm noticing you about you this week, Kev? Your beard. It looks especially groomed.
I've got my Manscaped conditioner and beard balm in.
You do, and when you get that kit, this is what you're getting, everybody. You are getting the full Monty here. Do you use the brush?
Yes.
How's this brush? This is a good.
Have you seen the new movie with it's Eddie Murphy and oh fuck, what the hell is his name? He's the white dude.
Jonah Hill.
Yeah,
it was very good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's got the brush going the whole time working his beard.
How's this? This is the Manscaped brush. It's got a very fine comb on the top and then a wider.
That's good. The wides for getting up in the morning. I hit the wide first, and then I use the little end, the thinner on my mustache, and then I trim my mustache because that seems like every couple of days it has to be trimmed. I actually use a trimmer though. I don't use scissors.
They do give you scissors here for everybody who's looking, and this is quite the kit. This is unbelievable. And how about the balm? Some beard balm or beard conditioner?
I do the conditioner and the balm.
Okay, and this bottle is very similar to the ball balm I have for the other regular Manscaped gimmick, not the beard one. Yeah. But you don't want to mix those up because unless somebody's beard is on your balls, and then you can just throw the whole shit down there and do everything.
Then it'll look fabulous.
Fantastic. But Manscaped now sells beard products. This is what we're talking about, okay? They're once again revolutionizing men's grooming with the brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. From a beard trim to a fresh shave, the technology behind the Beard Hedger Pro Kit allows you to shape your signature beard look. Now you can finally use Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com and using code KLIQ for 20% off and free shipping. 20% off, free shipping. You know, Kev, it's waterproof. You can use this in the shower. I don't know if you shave in the shower or you prefer to do it after.
No, I got to be in front of a mirror.
Okay. But if you so desired, you could. It's waterproof. You could do that. The blade is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. Don't forget the beard oil. You got beard shampoo and conditioner. For God's sakes, you're going to head to manscaped.com and use promo code KLIQ, K-L-I-Q, for 20% off and free shipping. Thank you to our friends at Manscaped. Kevin, last night it was the State of the Union address, and always a crucial time in a president's tenure to be able to tout their successes and answer questions, hecklers, whatever's going on. First, of course, he had a sizable portion of trashy hecklers, like our friend, the fucking wayward dance mom reject, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Wow.
But so I thought we would give a state of the Kliq THIS Union also here. Let us know. We've been doing this for 6 months, so we can, along with Joe, we can talk about what we've had to experience here a little bit too. So he had those trashy hecklers. We have YouTube, is where we have our trashy hecklers, of course. So very similar to what he deals with in the room. We have to deal with. Biden talked about big corporations had to pay their fair share. Our advertisers have to pay their fair share. That's what we've all learned after 6 months. Talked about protecting Medicare. And we're hoping we can get our YouTube play buttons delivered before we're collecting Medicare. Called for a ban on assault weapons. And we've called on a ban, called for a ban on the term Detroit pies for pizza. He's called for police reform, and the police are called for wellness checks anytime Kevin's having a bad day on this show. So Biden created 12 million jobs. We created 23,217 boners with our BLUECHEW ads. Let's go through some of what was talked about last night here. And they always put the fact check out the day after.
I was very impressed. I mean, there was some things that I mean, there was really nothing that he was facetious about.
No, there were no blatant lies. But as with a politician, there's some spin, right?
Well, I mean, it's when he talked about the, you know, what Trump, how deep Trump had put us in the hole during his 4 years. And, you know, yes, I mean, the fact that he did the tax cuts led to a lot of that, but the pandemic stimulus that was given out to keep the country afloat during that time, you know, I mean, and people forget this, that Trump really, with that, whatever the fuck he called it, Project Warp or whatever, but he did get vaccinated. I mean, Trump did a good job of getting the vaccine out, and it was just that it was instead of it being a medical situation, and it really was never a vaccine, it was an RNA inhibitor, but it became then it became politicized, and then it became, you know, like everything else, like it became, oh, you wear a mask. And a mask was a sign of a Democrat.
Right.
You know, like everything took this political overture, while it's been proven statistically that more Republicans died than Democrats of COVID.
So what you were talking about was the deficit, right? I think they were saying $8 trillion of the $31 trillion happened over the 4 years that Trump sat in the White House. But yeah, I mean, of course, COVID was a contributing factor, and you know, but you do have the tax cuts
that is huge.
Deprived us.
You know, that 25% of our debt as a nation, since we've been a country, was a cure during his 4 years.
Yeah.
So, and that I don't know. I mean, maybe I missed the boat on this, but you know, fiscal conservative was what Republicans were known for. Smaller government.
Smaller government, fiscal conservatism. Yeah. So let's see. What else did he talk about? He mentioned the an interesting drill down he had was unemployment among specific demographics.
Right.
And he did mention that there is now record low unemployment for Black and Hispanic workers, which appears to be true.
It was off, but I think it and actually in maybe 90. God, I read that damn thing today, but Black unemployment was 0.5% lower at one other time in the last. You know.
Oh, then it was okay.
Yeah.
But it was.
But I mean, nothing that you could say, ha ha.
Right.
Tried to slip one by me there, but with a 0.5%.
Right.
I'm
I think
just
it was
really,
5.4 is what the African American unemployment was, and the Hispanic was 4.5.
Before they had the State of the Union, they went around and basically did, a lot of polling, and the numbers of people that thought that he was doing a good job were like, he had like a 40% approval, but like 34% on the economy of Americans. And when you basically see, if you go through that list of jobs and, and everything else that he's done during this time, he's done a very good job. And what it looked like was going to be going into a recession right now, as long as we kick the can down the street again and pay the debt ceiling, we're probably going to have a very soft, we won't be in a recession, we'll have a soft landing, and probably within 8 months start to get, there's a lot of people that were predicting a bear market that are starting to say they're
bullish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're looking for this to be a bull. So, and for me, I was looking at some of my portfolio, and especially like just the dividend buying stocks, that even though, and this was like when it was the too big to fail era, and I would watch, I'd be like, shit, like I'm getting killed, but at the same time, the dividends are going in and buying stocks at a lower price. And then when the market corrects itself, you end up, making back that 12% that you lost and some. And so,
a lot of people were saying that Biden hadn't done much. I don't think people read the news. I think people skim. I think people's news mostly comes from Twitter or whatever social will show just headlines. Because clearly nobody's looked at manufacturing data, unemployment.
Here's one for you. So, how many people out there are aware that the Gordie Howe Bridge that is going from Canada to Detroit, which is south of the Ambassador Bridge, is, the two main structures are there, and now they've just got I think it's 0.53 miles of bridge they've got to build, but it's, there's going to be another bridge. And that's infrastructure, and the amount of like bridges and like I'm really concerned right now is like, it seems like to me like we've had a ton of air traffic control problems,
Yes.
And I'm talking about 4 or 5, but it's just like, hey, if the guy from FedEx decides to take off, he goes inside the United flight. I haven't been flying because I just haven't left my house.
Right.
And I got a card in the mail today from the people that work for Delta in Daytona Beach, and it was just hope you're Kev, they haven't seen me. They're so used to seeing me every Friday and every it was signed by like 35 employees.
Wow.
Delta. Yeah. My wife opened it. I said, she said, you got something from Delta here in Daytona Beach. I'm like, well, open it up. She opened it up and she was just like, wow. And I said, well, I guess my big ass is missed.
Yeah. It reminds me of when I moved out of my mother's home in my 20s. The Domino's Pizza in neighboring North Bergen called because I'd so frequently placed orders to see if I was okay. And she had to inform them that they moved.
Not Little Caesars.
Not Little Caesars. No,
Son of a
we didn't
bitch.
have one of those, boss. We had a
Son
Domino's.
of a bitch.
But another surprising statistic that I heard: child poverty cut in half. They fact-checked this, and it's pretty much true. It was a 46% drop from the child poverty rate was 9.7% in 2020, and 5.2% in 2021. And the child tax credit, I think, is largely you'd have to point to for that. With what was that? You were able to claim. I'm trying to remember up to a certain. It was based on income too, so you didn't get the full tax credit if you made over a certain threshold. Yeah, that shit used to drive me crazy. They never adjusted that for location, which I thought was pretty crazy. Like, if the threshold for not getting a tax credit was $150,000, let's say, right, where it starts to sunset, percentage-wise, after your household income's $150,000. The guy in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, gets that same threshold as the guy in New York City or
right?
Chicago or Miami. $150,000 is the poverty rate in New York.
Yeah, absolutely.
They never slid that for.
No, there's not. But it's funny if you work a SAG film, the per diem is like $68 in Albuquerque, and $135 in L.A. or New York. So
the entire country should take their cue from our union.
Our union's fucking it's gotten shitty.
How awful is tax time for us, Kevin? With fucking movie you
Jesus.
get a W-2 from every movie that you've ever done because you're collecting residuals, so you're earning. So I got to go throw this at my accountant every fucking year, and here's the crazy thing. I still don't know why this exists. Let's say a film shoots in New York and Arizona. You do your work in New York. I'm still filing for states where the film had business, but I didn't earn any money there.
Yeah.
But you have to file the when you were working as a wrestler, did you have to file in every state that you worked?
There were certain states like Mass, California. I want to think maybe Jersey, maybe New York. There was I remember my fucking tax return, was gigantic.
Yeah, because I remember my accountant explaining to me one time, like, if you play in the NBA and every city that you have a game, you have to fucking file in that state.
Have you ever seen, like, a guy that makes, like, say, $4 million as a pro athlete? Like, they have to pay what is called a jock tax. It's like a guy that makes $4 million pays like $178,000. They had a guy that was I want to think he played for the Jets. I showed him on Instagram, and his tax rate, all said and done, was 44% of what he earned.
And that's before your agent takes any too.
Yeah, if his 5 or 3 or whatever. Which I guess you could. I mean, one of the few write-offs you've got.
Yeah, that'd be 10.
So
that'd be 10. Your agent would have 10.
No, not those NBA. But those motherfuckers don't get 10.
Oh, they chop them down?
Fuck. You think, man? Can you imagine? Brady's making $40 million bucks. You think that guy's getting fucking $4 million?
I just assumed that was the same as like entertainment.
No, it's like a point.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
and on top of that, you're signing a 5-year deal, and that he negotiates fucking for 3 weeks, and you're paying him for 5 years off of that fucking deal.
Absolutely correct. Right.
So it's like, man, fuck that. You ain't working. You ain't. No. Wrestlers are the only ones stupid enough to be paying fucking agents 10% all the way across the board.
How many wrestlers were working with agents? Like we talked about Barry Bloom a few times.
Yeah, fucking Barry had everybody.
That's what I thought. Like I've actually never heard another agent's name linked to professional wrestling. I'm sure they're out there, especially now. I'm sure they are.
Well, Barry basically, it was like a situation where if you walked into the WWE and you said, "Yeah, I use Barry Bloom," they'd be like, "No, you don't." Like they just wouldn't do business.
Oh, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they just wouldn't do business. He'd raise the bar so high.
At what point was this where they turned their back on him?
I think it was actually kind of when Paul became family. You know, because then Paul was no longer negotiating, and then they weren't going to ever cut Barry's balls while Paul was using them.
Right.
But, I mean, I know for a fact that Jericho still uses Barry, and he gets paid well.
Mm-hmm.
He always gets great deals. Mm-hmm. And deservedly so.
Yeah. I mean, I could see now it's much more in line with entertainment, professional wrestling. But when you guys were first reaching out for an agent, it must have been like the first time an agent called fucking Eric or Vince would have been like, "You're what?"
That's why that favored nations and all that other shit. You know, that's that like they
no one asked for that before an agent.
No, and then the next thing you know, it's like you've got two guys with the favored nations actively recruiting guys to come in
for high salaries
and telling them, and you got to ask for this. You know, like I remember sitting Luger and Sting down and saying, "What do you guys get making?" They told me. I went, "Oh, you're getting fucked, dude. This is what we're getting. You've got to go in and ask for more." And fuck it, right?
That Hogan contract that we did, was that a Barry Bloom contract?
Holy fuck. No, that was he used Holmes.
I don't know the name.
Yeah,
okay.
Hulk always Hulk was way ahead of that. I saw a thing today. I was flipping through something, and Hogan was talking about like going to Hollywood, and you know he did a couple of movies for New Line Cinema, like $2-3 million films that by the time they went international would accrue between 20 and 30 million. And I guess some bigwig out there kind of like caught a fancy for him, and Hogan showed up late for something, and the guy pulled him aside, and basically the guy was wanting to get on Hulk's pole, and fucking it's so funny too, man, because it's like you can just hear like the way it's just exactly what Hulk would say, like brother, I don't I don't roll that way, man. I just basically
your cock doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah, sorry, brother. and then Hulk basically said like go fuck off. He said I was still young, man. He said I had a lot of wrestling to do.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
The 5-star reviews are in, and it's confirmed SaveWithConrad.com can save you thousands. Jimmy E. writes that we saved his family more than $1,000 a month. James S. says we saved his family more than $1,200 a month. But how much can you save? It's free to find out right now at SaveWithConrad.com. But if you've got a second mortgage, if you've got credit card debt, or even worse, if you're in a 30-year loan, it's not a matter of if we can save you money, but a matter of how much at SaveWithConrad.com.
So,
were you ever put in a compromising position? Good-looking man, well built. Were you ever put in a Me Too compromising position?
I was. I mean, when I was working for American Sunroof Corporation, I was an SPC coordinator, statistical process control analysis, quality control guy, and my boss was a woman. I went on like a seminar type thing for advanced training, and I mean it was like we had the adjoining rooms was kind of the tip off.
Oh, so you were sent somewhere for a training with her?
Yeah, for training. Yeah, across over on the west side of Michigan, and she was expecting I was going to get a bump in pay if I gave her a little bump.
If you gave her a bump, right. Did she explicitly tell that to you? This wasn't the summer of '92, was it?
No, God, no.
No. So
there was no summer of '92. I was on the fucking road with Shawn Michaels and fucking Razor Ramon. No, I wasn't. I wasn't yet. '93 would have been. So
no, I would have chops.
I'm thinking like I would have been with Rude. Yeah, that would have happened. I'm sure I would have got raped with fucking Rude sitting around.
So how did she look? How did this woman look?
She was older. She was attractive she was attractive, but.
And you're what? You're a young man.
26.
Oh, 26 already.
Yeah, I was 26.
And you don't take the bait, or you do?
No, because I had a super fucking hot broad that I was banging.
Right.
Like, hey, you want to eat this fucking Arby's roast beef sandwich? You want to go wait and get home and have a 7-ounce fillet?
But the promotion. Think about Pam Anderson's mom. The promotion, Kevin.
I knew I wasn't staying in that fucking
that line of work for much longer.
Yeah, I just saw on the bottom it says, "Yeah, I never thought these letters were true until it happened to me." The Penthouse Forum. I'm hung like anybody else. 11 soft.
So you're 10 years old reading this, and your view of the world as a man is totally askew now.
And I should probably tell the truth on this. Is I did go to a room, had a couple of cocktails, did a little check the oil, but fucking, I'm sorry, baby, but unless you play Muskrat Love, I'm out of here.
Oh, full bush. That's what we're hearing, huh?
Fucking, Pelteroni. Looked like home plate. I was gonna bang her, but I said, "Is there any way we get Nestor Shylock to fucking clean the plate?" Fucking hell, man.
So in your preview, had you not been met by a kitten with its throat cut, would maybe you have gone in?
I'd at least fucking got blown.
Right.
She had age on her, so she'd fucking tuck back a few. But then again, if she was
teeth might have come out too.
No, she was. She dressed good. She wasn't overweight.
How were her feet? Did you at least get the feet? Did you get a look at the feet?
No. Once I saw that fucking that bush, I said, "Sammy's so skinny." Muskrat Love.
You know what?
Fucking the songs from America.
Always something coming to mind.
I saw them in. I don't know. I saw them in Fort Wayne, America.
So you actually saw America perform? Okay.
Yeah, it's Fort Wayne.
Horse with No Name. What are some of the other classic cuts? We could have everybody build the playlist for this week.
One of my favorites was Ventura Highway.
Okay.
Ventura Highway, hell no.
Original band? Everybody was in?
This was probably 77.
Oh, so that was the run. That was the run.
So 77. 77. Summer of 77. Got raped by, I think, some Portuguese guys that summer.
Kevin, you might not have eaten anything walking into the adjoining room circa 1977, but tonight I ate a Factor dinner. Let me tell you about Factor. Let me tell you what I had first of all tonight. I had a chicken with chipotle queso on cauliflower rice and zucchini. And I'm drinking currently a Factor smoothie. This is tropical fruit. I have a fridge full of these right now. I have tropical fruit. I got strawberry and banana. And if you need to fuel up fast, and fast is the key word, these meals are made, they're nutritious, they're delivered straight to your door, leaving you time and energy to tackle everything else on your to-do list, okay? You pop this bad boy in. 3 minutes later, I was eating it, okay? Skip the trip to the grocery store. Skip the chopping, prepping, cleaning. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. So all you have to do is heat and enjoy, okay? No matter your lifestyle, Factor has delicious flavor-packed meals. And you can choose. When you choose your food, you choose if you're like on a keto diet, you can choose the keto line. Calorie smart, vegan, protein plus. I went with something called Chef's Choice, okay? So I had my 6 meals delivered.
I went keto.
You went keto.
Yeah.
Okay. So 34
I
chefs.
actually misread it. I thought it said Kato. I was a big Bruce Lee
Oh,
fan.
Kalen, or maybe Kato. Kalen's going to arrive with you
the Green Hornet.
From
Green Hornet.
This is an age thing. We're talking about the guy from the Pink Panther that used to jump out and attack Peter Sellers.
Well, that was Bruce. I mean, it was but it was the same deal.
I don't think his name was Kato though. I think
Kato is Kato is the Green Hornet.
No, I know. I'm referencing the Pink Panther for some reason. I don't know why this jumped in my head. 34 chef-prepared meals. You can't deny that, though. Pink Panther confusion or not. Dietitian-approved weekly options.
They look
There's
good.
always something new to try. And you can round out your meals and replenish your SNAP supply with an assortment of 36-plus sweets, smoothies, juices, and satisfying add-ins, okay? Add-ons. Here is the action. Listen to this. Head to factormeals.com/Nash50. You want to know why the 50? I'm going to tell you. When you use the code Nash50, you get 50% off your first box. Okay, that's code Nash50 at factormeals.com/Nash50. Go get your 50% off.
So how was the cauliflower rice?
The cauliflower rice was okay because I buried it right under the chicken. So with each forkful, it was the chicken, the chipotle, the queso, and
Have you ever had a cauliflower crust pizza?
I haven't. My wife has.
Was it Detroit style?
I fear that it's too much a deviation from what pizza should be.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I mean, I've done it. You know, when I've been on diets before, it's like. It is what it is, but it's not fold it in half, grease dripping down a slice of pie that you want to, you know.
Sometimes you want that.
You want it, especially something about a piece of pie at 2:00 in the morning in New York City on a piece of that wax paper, and it's just like 3 bites. It's like
fold
fucking
fold it.
Yeah,
fold
it.
it.
Just and you fold it, and then, but it's so funny because when you fold it, it's always that you'll know that the person's always got the napkin, and then they go up. They take the end of it and they go up like this way, and then take the bite. So it's like when you get drive-through burgers, you always got to squeeze the burger while it's wrapped, and then take it out and lick the back of the burger where all the fucking ketchup and shit goes to make that fucking drop.
That first drop, yeah.
Get that fucking out of the way. It was like my dad when we used to go eat Coney dogs in Detroit. He would take the Coney dog, chili mustard and onions, take the dog and hold it sideways and go and eat all the chili mustard and onions in one
off the dog.
And then pick it up and then fucking eat the fucking dog because there's still the remnants on it. Never fucking saw him get anything on him. You see people over there fucking with forks and knives and 300 napkins. He'd be like...
It was like the appetizer was the chili, and then he had the hot dog.
He had the hot dog.
Where did I see the Coney recently? I thought of you referencing that. Is that a Detroit thing? The word Coney, referencing Coney Island, I guess.
It's Coney, New York. I think Nathan's is probably
on Coney Island. Yeah, on the corner.
That's got to be the. But for us, like people always say all American or Lafayette when you're from Detroit, and I'm like, well, actually, like when I was a kid, there was a place called the Senate on Michigan Avenue that we used to go to but it burned down. but I'm a Lafayette guy.
My brother for Christmas gave me this this service where you can order food basically from almost any restaurant in the country.
My sister sent me conies.
And I was searching, and I saw the conies.
Yeah.
I thought, I don't know how that would travel, though, But there must be a system.
Yeah, my sister sent them. They were good. I remember me and T banged them out, man. Like one afternoon, man, we just, boom.
So I did do the search for the Detroit, because you can go into a category, right? So you go into pizza, and then it lists all the pizzerias that participate. And it's all like the ones that you've heard of, right? Because who else would order across the country from your pizzeria unless you were a kind of famous pizzeria? So, and then there's a subcategory by city. So I did go into Detroit, and that one is on there. I'll never remember the name, but I mentioned it from an article or something, or maybe a fan had sent it, and you were like, yeah, but you're not good. That if you went there in the 70s, it was this little thing. I forget.
There's like 10 of them now, but back then it was a tavern.
Right. So so it is a chain now. So maybe that's why it's so accessible. But you could order a Detroit pizza from that place.
I think it's Buster's.
Considering it.
If I'm not mistaken, is it Buster's?
I don't know. I'd have to go on. It's
the one that they cooked them in the automotive square pans. It was like, but that's where Detroit pizza. That's the lineage of the square pizza. Is if you fucking went to that tavern, and they show pictures. It's black and white. It looks like a bunch of guys that just got off work at the fucking car plant smoking cigarettes. That's a place you're going to take your kids to go eat a pie.
No, but I like the pan, that oil pan gimmick. That's great. I want to see if I could find this now. I want to see what the name of the place, because I will order it from there to see. I have Steve on the case here bringing up the pizzas on this website. I'm not going to mention it.
I know it was on 6 Mile.
So if you scroll down a little and you go by category, Steve, right where it says order your favorite foods, I think you have to go down a little more.
Can you order Vanessa's box?
Yeah. Scroll over, find pizzas. Where's pizza? Mine is next to bagels on the second screen.
There we go, pizza.
Okay. So now, go down further and find, let's see, Detroit. How do I sort the city? Okay, there on this, Detroit. So here it is. Now, what are the names of these joints? What's the name of that place? Okay, Detroit style pizza. No. Go down to where.
Wow, there's
Buddies. Is that it, Buddies?
Yeah. Buddies is it.
That's it right there. Look at that. Click into that mother. How much?
$99.
A 3-pack for $100. You can't go wrong. I may do that the minute I get off the air.
Looks like shit.
Yeah, it really does. It looks unattractive.
Yeah.
But see, now that shot looks good in the pan.
But
like that,
it looks
the
like
sauce
fucking,
loaded.
it looks like lasagna or something. I need a fucking pizza. Fuck that shit.
But that's not a Buddy's pie. Like that's not a typical Buddy's pie.
Like I said, there was no fucking square pizza when I was a kid.
Look at that crust. Oh, that's so good. The cheese kind of.
Oh yeah, back in the '46, Gus Guerrero pizza.
Hey, there it is.
There it is.
The returning World War II soldiers and his mom in the kitchen. Look up at the top there.
Square thick. Yeah. Read more. See if you can show a picture. They show these fucking guys that you wouldn't let you.
Now they have 20 locations, Kevin, in the Detroit area.
Yeah.
Gus Guerra. Soldiers told him about the pizza they'd eaten in Italy, and he set out to recreate it. There were no pizza pans around back then, but there were plenty of automotive shops, so someone brought over a rectangular steel tray used to hold nuts and bolts. His chef, Connie Picanato, used it to make a pizza, and the rest is fucking history. God damn it. Got to try it for history's sake.
No, it's fucking bogus. It's trying to. Detroit, is got like that. It's kind of has a resurgence, the Renaissance city, and I'm sorry, but fucking. If it ain't a guy in a fucking Little Caesar outfit, I ain't fucking buying it.
Did Detroit get the makeover that I'd been hearing for years? Was I guess the downtown, right? When they rebuilt the arena. What's the new arena?
Little Caesar Arena. Buddy's Arena.
It's square
because
the field is
because everybody knows that Buddy's is the fucking is Detroit Pizza. That's why the fucking Red Wings and the Pistons play at the fucking Little Caesars Dome. You motherfucking idiots!
I got to tell you, of all the stuff we've done 32 shows, we got more mileage out of. I don't know how this pizza thing came up. We've got more mileage.
It's pizza. It's like I'm from Detroit. It's like these motherfuckers that have lived there for 5 years. It's like, okay, I get it. Buddy's now has 20 locations, and if you look it up online, each one has a different, like, it's not just Buddy's. It's each one has a different color scheme, it's like, fuck you. Like, they like I said, you stay at the Greektown Casino, get a suite that overlooks the Detroit River, and you'll have a view. You can see Ford Field, the commercial field, the Tiger Stadium, and the Little Caesar Dome out of your side window, and it's like, so Ford, which builds cars, they've got the Ford Field, and the other one's a bank, and then the other one is Little Caesars. And Illich owns the Tigers too.
Yes.
So he owns the Red Wings, the Tigers.
Did how geographically, where's Flint as compared to
straight north, maybe 60 miles?
I saw that documentary. Is it
Flint and Saginaw are both like straight up.
Is it still as decimated there as?
Oh yeah, it's rough.
So after the auto industry, it never came back.
No, that and then fucking they had all that water problems.
That was horrific.
It's just one thing after another. Fucking Detroit's rough.
No, I know. That's why I was asking. I know
there's
that
pockets. They basically call it the corridor, and it's kind of Woodward Avenue out. But you fucking when I shot that Detroiters, I was downtown for the maybe 10 days,
right,
total. And it was like, they said, oh, there's a wine place and a tapas place that's up Michigan. And so I told the taxi guy, I said, he was an Uber driver. I said, just take me up and let me just look around. And man, we went, there's a famous sandwich place that we went by. And once we went by that, it was like, oh, fuck.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, man, all of a sudden, man, it becomes very Omega Man. The street lights become fucking farther apart. It was just like.
But the section you grew up in was.
Oh, it's fine. It's like the place that time stood still. The steel mill's closed.
Right.
The Chrysler engine plant's still full force. But we had a giant steel mill.
Did Ford ever lose presence there?
No. The Rouge plant has been since the Model T. The Rouge plant's has been putting out cars.
Right. Okay. So, like, I'm going to forget the name of the documentary. It was Michael Moore.
That was the one up in Flint.
Yeah. I'm not going to remember the name, but so when they showed all those shots of
Roger and me.
Roger and me, right. So when the plants were closing and stuff, those weren't the Ford plants, I guess.
Up in Flint was like there, and we had this conversation, and somebody on the message thing said that there was still, I think there's a truck, one of the truck plants is still up there, maybe a GMC or something.
GMC,
like that.
right? That's what I was gonna say, right?
But I mean, you have to realize, back in the day that fucking, there was Oldsmobiles, Buicks, Pontiacs, like there was, and everybody just, I mean, it used to be Lincoln, Mercury, and Ford, and Mercury's gone.
Were Cadillacs made up there? They're what?
Yeah.
GM, right?
Right off of the Fleetwoods. The Fleetwoods were made right off of 75, right off of on the east side of I-75. You go by the Fisher body plant was there, and you said the Cadillac emblem was there. Yeah, that was
You still have family up there?
Yeah, my brother, my sister, my aunt. My aunt just came down last night. My aunt came down from Detroit. So this is the first time we've seen her since, this is the first interaction we've had with any family besides my mother-in-law who lives down here. And this is the aunt that was, with Tristan since he was born. So
Right. I was going to say, did Tristan kind of bring this together?
It was, she used to always come down, and then during the pandemic, she didn't come, then she came, she came last year. She spent, I think, she usually spends 3 or 4 weeks with us. And so she came down, and I walked in the TV room today, and she was just like in front of the one of the book cases, just looking at some framed pictures of T, and because she, like, my wife said, like, listen, like, you can't come down here and make me hysterical, like, that's not going to work. So you got to, like, you can go if you get upset, or you need to go up to the guest room and chill. She said, just, you can't. She says, every day it's enough for us to get through it. We don't need anybody, going into hysterics. And she's been great so far. So
that's good.
And then her and Tamara took T's Jeep out today. Drove T's Jeep. So that's why I couldn't get my fucking camera to work when I got down here.
Sorry, T.
Yeah, sorry.
They
T.
took care of it. It's fine.
Yeah, I didn't give them your keys. You left them on the hook. So.
Oh God! I mean, everybody's got their struggle. I think these days with anxiety, depression, and MINDBLOOM. It would be pertinent to point out now is an option, and there really is no quick fix for any type of distress, anxiety, depression, but MINDBLOOM, it's not about finding a new therapist or starting an exercise routine. Sometimes you just need something to unlock the brain, to get a new way of thinking about something. And it's maybe for you, it's guided ketamine therapy, okay, from MINDBLOOM.
Like a lack of purpose, man.
I was going to say, is that the checklist? It was like next to you. All those things were listed next to your graphic.
I'm looking at them, and I'm saying, well, I've always, stress, no. I don't have stress. I'm
anxiety?
Yeah, absolutely. Anxiety, feeling lost, but fucking lack of purpose is by far my biggest thing right now. I just don't, because I was getting prepared to, cut back on my schedule and just be a dad.
Well, now maybe here's this new tool for you to explore and improve your mental health.
No, I'm definitely, I just need to write myself I need to write myself a message
Take a screen cap of that screen right there at home ketamine therapy from MINDBLOOM. They're the leader in at-home ketamine therapy, having safely helped thousands of people overcome their anxiety and depression. Unlike traditional talk therapy, ketamine works quickly, and it does not have the unpleasant side effects of traditional antidepressants. In a case study of over 1,200 MINDBLOOM clients, 89% reported improvements in their anxiety and depression after only 2 sessions. And right now, MINDBLOOM is offering our listeners $100 off your first 6-session program when you sign up at mindbloom.com/Kliq, Kliq. Remember to use that promo code Kliq. Take the first step and break free from your anxiety and depression with MINDBLOOM. That's mindbloom.com/Kliq, and use that promo code Kliq for your $100 off your at-home ketamine therapy. And let us know how it goes. We'll be happy to hear about it.
So it's been brought to my attention that one of the things now is Stuttering Kev or whatever the fuck. So I just want to, on my defense, I go days fucking not speaking to a human being. Besides, I mean, I like my wife and I we have our own little banter, and it's very controlled. It's concise.
It's concise, and you mostly grunt anyway.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't have to explain, that 12,000 people died, and is the number right now in Turkey, and this horrible fucking earthquake. I don't have to explain that. I go to the gym. I fucking work out. I don't talk to anybody. So a lot of times it's been a couple days since I've spoke, and I don't have CTE. I don't. I couldn't remember the shit I remember. It's just like.
So what? People are commenting somewhere that when you're looking for something, or you're thinking of something, that it comes across like you're Mel Tillis or so. There's a reference people are going to get. Or
I don't know.
I can't think of a contemporary stutterer though. So Stuttering John. There you go.
Fucking Biden.
But yeah, Biden was a stutterer. That's true. All right.
And and people sometimes question his cognitive ability, because he does have he stuttered.
He's a
so
stutterer. But it's not beyond a certain segment of a certain party to make fun of anyone with a disability, like reporters. I remember a former president doing this when a handicapped reporter had some questions too. So.
Yes, but they have to realize that he got the cock slave fucking, the cock slave award. So, what did somebody said today? The twice impeached. They introduced him to somebody else, and we're talking about the ex-president Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw another thing today. A guy that went golfing with him. Have you seen that that's online?
No.
It's like a guy that it looks like he might be Hispanic. He's got a white shirt on, and there's a picture. He said that that he went out golfing with Trump, and Trump was a savage, just fucking man's man, and fucking they ate hot dogs. He didn't give a fuck, and they came up and said, we have a interview for you. He said, who is it? They said, some lady from the press. And he says, how's she look? She said, not bad. He goes, all right, I'll do it. And the guy was like really putting him over. So, and there's a lot of people that I met, that have met Trump that put him over, so.
Well, as a dude, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not as a leader of the free world.
No, I don't think that.
There's a lot of people you hung out with that were cool. Would you have wanted Scott to be the leader of the free world, for God's sakes?
No.
That took you 2 seconds.
Nor would I want me.
Hey.
I mean, but while we're on, I would have shot that motherfucking balloon down before it got into even Alaska.
They wanted it over water, and they also wanted it to be able to come down intact so they could take it apart and see what's in it. So just firing missiles willy-nilly at it.
Everybody has this, it's like, I don't understand why China's so upset. It's just like, well, during Trump's administration, they had got 3 of them on our, in our airspace. Earlier in Biden's administration, they got a 4th one, and then we just decide to shoot the 5th one down over Myrtle Beach, and they're wondering why the Chinese are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you didn't do this to the last 4.
Yeah, that's like fucking, it's like the girl that gives you anal the first 4 dates, and you go to hit it in the ass on the 5th date. What are you fucking thinking? Jesus, man, you fucking let me hit that shit for fucking the last 4 times.
Hashtag Ask Nash. It is time for you to face your public, Kevin. Adam says, hey, hey, Kevin. Hey, Stuttering Kev. Hey, Sean. Is an inverted atomic drop a low blow? It's a fine question. Because a regular atomic drop is supposed to be the impact on the spine, but the inverted atomic drop is all balls.
I would have to. I mean, either way, I think Rick Rude sold the ass bump better than anybody. I used to love how Rick Rude would sell it. I remember him and Sting were going around when Rick first came to WCW, and Sting would give him he'd give him like 2 or 3 of those ass bumps, and then Steve would take off, hit the ropes, and fucking hit him with clotheslines, and fucking Rude was, God, that motherfucker could feed. He was so fast up and down, and boom, 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 and the motherfucker could go.
He was great.
Yeah.
I remember a match at the Meadowlands that I wasn't there for, but I saw it televised on MSG Network against Jake. And the finish was Jake as the babyface hooks the trunks. This was back when he was doing the angle with Jake's wife, and he had his wife Cheryl spray painted on his ass and stuff. So Jake's finish, he rolls him up and pulls the tights. He right to the hard cam. He fucking rakes the fucking not only brown eye. I saw what he had for lunch that day. Right to the hard cam. They didn't block it or anything because I think it was taped. But and then he pops up and Rude does the stumble around the ring with the ass still out for 8 seconds, and he was great.
Sean used to do that especially in the ladder match where he'd be going up and Scott would grab his tights and pull him down, and Sean would do the up and over with his ass still hanging out.
Right, no need to put it away. It's out. It's
out. Yeah, fuck it. It's eerie. What the fuck? Not eerie again.
Trill Mexican 305. You have a choice of these 2 fine-ass women to take on a date.
Sade.
Who are you picking, Sade or Pam Grier?
Sade.
Right away. You didn't even hesitate. He says, also, I met you at in TNA in April of 2008, and you were apparently very nice.
That was Sam Elliott. Fuck.
That was Sam Elliott after a fucking wicked few bong hits.
I wasn't afraid.
Pam, so no even consideration for Pam Grier. You went right.
Sade just had her 63rd birthday.
I know, we talked about her a little. I think we might have errantly accused her of a crime.
I think we did.
Yeah. I couldn't find anything. I think you would tell me she cut somebody's throat or something.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it.
Oh, well.
He also says...
Must have been a dream.
He also said... Well, if she's in your dream, I doubt she's cutting your throat. He also said you were the nicest guy besides Don West that he ever met in person.
Oh, Don was a great guy. So
Don still has you, but...
It's all right.
Kaylee McMurtry... Please ask Big Kev if he recalls being on a show. I'm the UK Live and Kicking. around 2000. I believe I remember Kev taking part, answering phones.
Yes.
And they seemed to be fans asking if wrestling was real. Jerry from Spice Girls was on it, too.
I remember that. I did the Big Breakfast Show a couple of times, too, over there.
And you're telling me the food's okay over there. If I do this trip this year to
Yeah.
the UK, you're telling me I can get good food. Indian, I'm hearing, right? You're telling me Indian?
The theater, the theater district.
West End, right?
Yeah, there's on Piccadilly.
Mike McDonald. Is this Michael McDonald?
Forget
not in love anymore. We both went for the same one. We could have chosen any Michael McDonald.
Yeah, that's pretty much his that's as good as it goes.
Oh, there's a lot. You could have chosen any of the Doobie Brothers stuff. Regarding venue rankings, that's Stuttering Sean. Does Nash remember working Fort William Gardens in Thunder Bay, Ontario? Would have been around 94, 95. Saw Nash and Bret Hart getting in a limo after the show. Saw Owen getting in a taxi a few minutes later.
I remember, because I worked that same building. That's what I was talking about, where me and Poffo, me and Lanny.
Oh.
So that was Thunder Bay. Tell you what's a crazy drive is you drive from Minneapolis, and then you drive all the way to Thunder Bay, and it's around the outskirts of Lake Superior.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's some big giant mansions that you just don't bring people to without making sure they're invited. And
Richard.
And but no, it's just. So I'm coming back, and I'm in a Cadillac. I think what was that? I think they call it CTS or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was a small little Cadillac, but it was fine for me. And I didn't get gas on the way in, so I'm going back down this road, and fuck, man, I see something on my headlights, so I slow down, and it's the scroungiest, looked like fucking oil. Like, and it came out, and it just came, and it just looked at fucking my car, and it's this big fucking wolf.
Oh.
And I'm like, holy fuck, man. And it just like sent a chill up my spine. It's fucking one of the nastiest motherfuckers. I mean, if there was anything that was a demon on the planet, it was that motherfucking wolf. And I had to piss, and I needed gas. And I went by 2 more gas stations, they're closed. And then I'm saying to myself, well, genius, they've still got lights on the pumps. You got a credit card, it's going to fucking work. Like, you know, so I said, no matter what, I got to piss.
Right.
So, but now I'm so freaked out about that wolf because I don't know how much ground he's made up.
How many friends he's got.
Yeah. So I got some shorts on, and I fucking so I sit on the side of the seat and have the door, and I basically piss like through a crack in the door this far onto the asphalt, you know?
It's like a carnival game.
Oh, yeah. It's just like...
You want a big minion stuffed animal for that.
And then, so then I said, all right, fuck it, man. I've got to make the move. But it's like the lighting in the parking lot is only maybe 30 feet. And then after that, it's kind of dark, so that if that motherfucker came on a run while you're sitting there pumping it, you're fucked. So I get out, and I put the fucking gimmick in, and I start it, and it works. It pumps gas. I get immediately back in the car. And not only do I get back in the car, but I remember vividly locking the door because everybody knows a wolf can open a door
with its paws.
Yeah, it knows exactly what to fucking do as it walks on its back legs. And I heard the thing catch, and then I'm just like, when I opened the door, like the light had went down, but my eyes hadn't adjusted. So like I'm thinking maybe I got 15 feet of real good visibility at this point. I went to fucking hang up the gimmick. It fell. I said, fuck it.
Leave it.
I'm done. put the cap on, shut that motherfucker, got in that car, and was so fucking worked up over it that it made me have to piss again. So I drove like 20 miles and pulled over again and pissed, and I was just like, motherfucker. I said, that wolf fucked me up.
Which is a good thing the wolf can also put the handle and nozzle back on the gas station pump, too. So it probably took care of that for you.
I'll guarantee you, though, man, there's probably like a camera, a video of that, and like later on, that fucking wolf walked up on his back feet, looking around, looked down to that pump, and shook his head like, motherfucker,
fucking my shit up. Fernum Schnavitz III says, I loved listening to you grade the buildings. One that wasn't mentioned was the Hershey Park Arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania. I live near there and would love to know your grade. The Giant Center was the new building in '02. Also wonder if you ever worked there. Thanks.
Hershey was one of what did we work? We worked Philadelphia that morning. Or like it was like a Sunday, so and it was always Philly on a Sunday at like maybe 2, and then we do Hershey that night. We do a double shot, and this is when they were piss testing us, and we only had a couple of house shows left, and Scott and I had already been smoking weed, so we weren't going to piss test. So I walked in and the fucking guys were in the white coats, and I just went and got in the car and left.
Oh, really?
Left Hershey and just said, "Fuck it, like I'm not going to work." Like, nah. Missed it. Oh, really? It was a double shot. Always loved Hershey because that's where Chamberlain scored 100 points. So I always loved that. Every time I'd go and sit in that Hershey building, we had it in your house from there.
Uh-huh.
To me, it's like all those old field houses and shit like that. Man, anything that, some motherfuckers back in the day were bleeding in their boots, and them motherfuckers,
But like the locker room accommodations were probably terrible. And I know there's history, but like your time there was probably shitty, right? Couldn't get coffee. Where was that? MSG?
No, that was the Garden.
That was the
Garden. Was fucking brutal. But I just remember I'd always sit there and just imagine, like, Chamberlain in that building scoring 100 points. So,
did you get to meet Wilt?
Yes, I met Wilt twice. He had a nightclub in Honolulu. That people, I don't know, people realize that he had Chamberlain had a nightclub in Honolulu for a while.
That where you met him?
No, I saw him twice in L.A.
Oh. Okay. Well, anyway, so let's give him a grade. Let's give Hershey Park Arena a grade, A through F.
Just for the nostalgia and being an old hoopster, it's just, it was. I remember the first time seeing that on the booking sheet and going, "Fuck, man!" It was kind of cool too because they had that little Hershey Park. They had like a little amusement park next to it.
Yeah.
So it was. I thought it was chill.
Okay.
It definitely. If I can remember it, and it when I think of that building, I think of it as a good experience.
So a B. We'll give it a B then.
Yeah, give it a B.
David Van Bogelen, a.k.a. Kliq This Podcast's favorite. Kevin, SHAQ said only Dennis Rodman was ever able to guard him and shut him down. Ignore all the antics off the court. Where did Rodman rank, in your view, amongst the top players and defenders of all time?
One of the great,
he grabbed a lot of boards, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that because he didn't give a shit about scoring, that he was able to really shut people down. He was one of the quickest I've ever seen as far as jumping and then touching the ground and going back up to the exact same. Bernard King, when it played at Tennessee, and I used to watch film of him, and Bernard King was the same way. Bernard King was maybe 6'6", maybe 6'7", but I think he was closer to 6'6". But Bernard was like that, where Bernard could jump 5 times to most people's 2, and he would jump the same height. And Rodman, you could just remember Rodman would always like almost play volleyball, tap it, tap it, tap it, tap it, and then grab the ball. You know, he was always in better condition, and that's, I mean, in anything, if you're playing against somebody and they're tired and you're not, you're gonna fucking kill them.
Right. Remember Larry Bird said you always rest on offense, never on defense. So is that the key to grabbing like 12 boards in a game? More than position, it's just the resilience of continuing to go up and over people. And
I always thought, I mean, it was very important because I was big and strong, for me to block out.
I was going to say, you can box out somebody.
If I could box out an area, you know. But I used to sit so many times, like before the games, I would watch whoever their scorers were, the guys that were going to be shooting the majority of the shots, and I would watch where they took their shots from, and where in that particular building their misses were going.
Right.
You know, so it's almost like it's like playing Battleship. You know, like set up and know, okay, if he likes to shoot from that corner, elbow. You know, he likes to turn to his right. He seems to, if he misses, it seems to go off right, and then, you know, just go from there.
Right.
I had to cover McHale when he was at Minnesota, and I mean, I did a good job. I mean, I beat the fuck out of him, man. That was back when we had 2 refs.
So you see a lot of it.
Oh fuck, man! I was so. There were so many people that said I was such like that. Fucking Nash is a dirty fucking prick and all this shit. I'd be like, oh well.
So when he would post you up, you know, he had that like that double move and that under thing. How did you?
I knew I wasn't. I knew with his arm length, I wasn't going to block his shot.
Right.
So there's no reason to leave your feet. All you can do is see where he wants to get the ball, and by me being stronger than him, push him
out. Yeah.
Push him 2 to 3 feet outside of that.
Right.
And that's going to change. If it changes 7%, his percent for the game, it could be the difference. And they had Trent Tucker was on that team that played with the Knicks, the fucking bomber.
Is he still in the office? Because he
McHale? I don't know.
How
How about we haven't talked about LeBron passing Kareem for the all-time scoring?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So is he the greatest of all time?
You know, I saw
Can you say that?
I saw an Instagram post, and it had a picture of Iverson. It had a picture of Magic. It had a picture of Jordan, and it had a picture of Chamberlain, and it had LeBron in front. It said, LeBron James has more steals than Iverson, more assists than Magic Johnson, more points than Jordan, more field goals than Chamberlain. That's a pretty fucking...
Wow. Yeah, when you put it that way.
You know?
It's hard. It's such an intangible to say, because you have to be position specific a little bit too, right?
I just don't...
Is a center ever going to be considered the greatest of all time?
Well, I mean, in my top 5 players, I've got 3 centers: Shaq, Chamberlain, and Jabbar.
Yeah.
You know, people that put Hakeem Olajuwon over, you know, Shaq or, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
No.
Like, obviously people didn't watch Shaq.
No. Nope. And and that brings us to the end of regulation here with March Madness is coming up.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite times of the sporting year.
Tennessee was ranked 2. They got fucking beat last weekend, and then, God, who was ranked number 1? Iowa. Iowa was ranked number 1. They got beat at Indiana. Purdue. Purdue's number 1, and they got beat by Indiana. And Purdue's got that 7'4" kid.
It's just to sell the pay-per-view. They're making them look weak, so everyone buys the tournament.
It's so funny. I was sitting there with my wife when she came in, and she just puts up with my shit. Like I know she just, when she walks in that fucking TV room and she just wants to hang out and watch something, I know it's not college basketball at fucking 4:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday. But I mean, it's just like. But I was looking at Assembly Hall where Indiana plays. And I didn't realize Indiana had a black basketball player in 1947, like the same time that Robinson was breaking the color barrier
in baseball.
Yeah, Indiana had a black basketball player, and they named which was at that time where he played. Is now the recreational center. It would be like University of Tennessee alumni gym. I didn't know that. But yeah.
And Indiana of all schools.
Yeah,
too.
Bill Garrett.
Okay.
Was his name, and but I remember when Bobby Knight came to my house from Indiana, and he was
to recruit
me, and I remember he walked in the front door. And the second sentence out of his mouth was, and of course that fucking hair's got to go. Because I had long ass hair. I didn't hear another fucking word that dude said. I was just like, fuck you.
Wow, he said it like that?
Yeah, that fucking hair.
You're trying to woo this kid, right? You're trying to. He knows other colleges are talking to you.
He didn't give a. It's like. If you're even thinking of coming, you were cutting that fucking hair. I was just like, okay. But I mean, that Assembly Hall, it was packed for that, playing number 1, and it's still impressive. It's like Rupp Arena is still impressive, but Rupp Arena. I remember the first year I played, and Rupp was 77. And I think it held 23,600. I mean, it was a big fucking box, but man, it was, and that crowd's always live.
Yeah,
I came close to. Kentucky recruited me, and my mom wanted me to go to Kentucky because she grew up in Kentucky.
Why didn't you go?
Them motherfuckers didn't give me no money when I fucking asked them.
Oh.
I wasn't going. I wasn't playing for free.
How'd they do that whole thing back then? The payola, was it in gifts? Was it?
No, they would they give you
give it to somebody else.
No, they give you season tickets. they give you 4 center court season tickets, and you'd sell those to your big orange brother, and
got it.
Get a couple of suits from John Daniels and a little pick-me-up ride when you needed it from Rice Oldsmobile. Free dinners at the Regis.
Did you ever see the film about that? I might have asked you this on air already with Nick Nolte about the
Blue Chips.
Yeah, Blue Chips.
Yeah,
how that shit worked, buying people tractors and shit.
It was never anything like that was that blatant. I remember my brother coming down when I was my freshman year, and I remember I was driving to Olds 98, and I had fucking big wad of fucking money. I had a fucking sports coat on. He's like, "What the fuck is going?" I said, "Hey man, major fucking college basketball. Got to keep us boys happy."
Yeah.
As I said, I couldn't have picked a better place to go to school than Tennessee.
You probably would have punched Bobby Knight in the face a lot quicker than you did your.
My coach was a Knight fucking disciple.
Oh, you did tell me
that.
Right?
Yeah, he was an assistant coach under Knight. It was the same. Fuck them all.
You know what I marvel at with college, and then we'll get off the fucking air with college basketball. Your turnover is, I mean, if it's a good player, it's not going to be 4 years. It's going to be every 2 years maybe for your star players. So the emphasis on recruiting. You look at these programs, these handful of dynasty programs, Duke and Kentucky, Indiana, sure. The emphasis that they have to put on recruiting. They have to cover the country. I would love to see like an in-depth exploration of just the recruiting process alone. The coaching and the winning, of course, that's a big part of it, but it is all about recruiting.
And the thing is, too, is that recruiting coach, like he's on the coaching staff, but his job is he's the head recruiter. He's usually the third, maybe fourth on the bench. That motherfucker, man, he's putting in WWF mileage.
Miles, yeah, sure.
300 fucking, and now they play year round on top of that. Like it used to be back in the day, you played football, then you played basketball, then you fucking high jumped. And nowadays, man, those kids are on AAU, and they play 24/7.
Right.
See,
it seems like that's how long.
Put that last graphic up. I want to see that graphic.
24/7. Which one?
It was on the bottom. So it was. I think it was some kind of celery.
Click the. How can you do that? Click the. I have it up the whole time. Oh, there it is. Okay. Recruiting coaches' salaries for those of you listening to us. College recruiting coach pays an average salary of, is that $2,673,682?
That's what it looks like to me. Fuck, there ain't no way they're getting paid that much.
And salaries range from a low of $2,352,000 to a high of $3 million. Individual salaries will, of course, vary depending on the job, department, location, as well as the individual skills. College recruiting coach.
Go up. Let me see the next thing. Like go upwards, up, or it should
down.
Be down.
Down.
What
there you go.
What is this here? Science for.
College recruiting coach, company overview. What is it? Was that like a headhunting?
I don't know.
We're trying to pinpoint.
We got to fucking.
There's no way on God's green earth.
Full time. There's 75,000. What? Yeah. There's no way.
Paralegal. This is obviously. This has to be a company called College Recruiting.
I'll be going fucking to work tomorrow. to fucking
as a college recruiter.
Shit, to watch fucking high school basketball. Fucking hang out. Fucking have some fucking cocktails. And shit. Talk to some parents.
All right,
I can guarantee I could recruit some kids.
So it says college basketball scout salaries range between $21,000 and $42,000.
Yeah.
With top earners making $56,000. It would give me a heart attack over there. $2 million.
Fuck.
I can tell you who has a good jump shot for far less than that.
Yeah.
All right, well, Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2023, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, are we doing another? It's almost time to start.
That's all, folks. Yeah. We have to do it, man. It's for tea. Plus,
and we got to do the.
Everybody's digging Sophia, so.
Yes, I did see that. A lot of attention, and that's a good thing.
So how can we get that? I mean, so we could.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Let people download that thing.
We'll talk. We'll get it into people's hands where it should be.
Yeah.
And we got to come up with the final 4 Kliq This pool. So we're gonna have to do the tournament pool here, and I don't know how we'll do that. We'll see. We'll get some action. Get some action like DraftKings. All right, deuces, y'all. Go do something fun today.
Jerk off.